Good afternoon, everyone. We are from the fifth group. We are here to share with you about late Victorian literature. But before we jump into the material, let me introduce our members first. There are Iva Hana Nurjana, Rahayu Kurnia Dewi, Aini Salsabila, and Febri Andriani. And now let's get started. Late Victorian literature is literary works that written on the late Victorian England era, that is, on the second half of the 19th century. The late Victorian era itself was a transition era from the Victorian to the modern, so it's also called an early modern era. It was around 1870 to 1900.
Hello, my name is Iva Nurjana. I'm going to tell you about the characteristic of late Victorian literature. The first one is realism. Attempts to describe human behavior and surroundings or to represent figures and objects exactly as they act or appear in life. A new sort of realism which rejected any sentimental and romantic attitude. It focused on the clash between man and environment, his dream and their fulfillment, illusion and reality. For example is Middlemarch by George Eliot and These Are Dear Peoples by Thomas Hardy. Second is Pre-Raphaelite, a group of first-century English painters, poets, and critics who reacted against Victorian materialism and the neoclassical convention of academic art by producing earnest, quasi-religious work. Example, The Goblin Marker by Christina Rossetti, artwork of her brother by Gabriel Rossetti. The third, social satire. Satire's literature that use humor or sarcasm to ridicule human vice or follies. Dickens was interested in social reform, and passages on the novel often reflect his feelings toward people and institutions in 19th century English society. Example, Vanity Fair by Thackeray. Next, Dickensian. The growth is a type of literature in which characters' outstanding physical or personality traits are exaggerated for comic or dramatic effect. This style has come to be known as Dickensian, and this term is today used to refer to any work that has characteristics of Dickens' writing. The last is dramatic monologue. Poetry that presents a speaker who unwittingly provides psychological insight through his words to the audience. Example, Miles Duchess or Porphyria's Lover by Robert Browning.
Hello, my name is Febri Andriani. Now I'm going to tell you about the writers and their works. The first one is Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling, in full, Joseph Rudyard Kipling, born 30 December 1865 until 18 January 1936. He was an English short story writer, poet, and novelist chiefly remembered for his celebration of British imperialism, his tales and poems of British soldiers in India, and his tales for children. He received the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1907. Kipling poems included Mandalay, Gungadin, and Eve. His most successful novel was Kim. He lauded British imperialism. Kipling's famous works are Kim, Jesus Stories, Barracuda Ballads, and The Jungle Book. The second one is Joseph Conrad. Joseph Conrad, original name Joseph Theodore Conrad Korzeniowski, born 3rd December 1857 until 3rd August 1924. Conrad was admired for the richness of his prose and his renderings of dangerous life at sea and in exotic places. A writer of complex skill and striking insight, But above all of an intensely personal vision, he has been increasingly regarded as one of the greatest English novelists. Cornered famous works are Lord Jim, Nostromo, The Secret Agent, and Heart of Darkness. The next one is George Eliot. Mary Ann Evans, known by her pen name George Eliot, born 22nd November 1819 until 22nd December 1880. She was an English novelist, poet, journalist, translator, and one of the leading writers of the Victorian era. Most of her works are set in provincial England and known for their realism and psychological insight. Readers in Victorian era praised her novels for their depiction of rural society. Much of the material for her prose was drawn from her own experience. One of her famous works is Middlemarch. Issues include the status of woman, the nature of marriage, idealism, self-interest, religion, hypocrisy, political reform, and education. Despite comic elements, Middlemarch used realism to encompass historical events. Another famous works from Eliot is The Mill on the Floss, Silas Marner, Romola, and Daniel Deronda. The next one is The Bronte Sisters. The Bronte sisters, Charlotte, Emily, and Anne, are well known as poets and novelists. They originally published their works under male pseudonyms Currer, Alice, and Acton Bell. The Bronte sisters genre is fiction poetry. Charlotte's Jane Eyre was the first to know success, while Emily's Wuthering Heights, Anne's The Tenant of Whitefell Hall, and other works were later to be accepted as masterpieces of literature. The Bronte sisters' other famous works are Poems by Currer, Alice, and Acton Bell, Jane Eyre, Shirley, Philip by Currer Bell, Wuthering Heights by Alice Bell, and the last one, Agnes Grey, The Tenant of Whitefell Hall by Acton Bell. And next is Charles Darwin. Charles Robert Darwin, born 12 February 1809 until 19 April 1882, was an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist best known for his contribution to the science of evolution. Darwin at first shocked religious Victorian society by suggesting that animals and humans share a common ancestry. However, his non-religious biology appealed to the rising class of professional scientists, and by the time of his death, evolutionary imagery had spread through all of science, literature, and politics. Darwin has been described as one of the most influential figures in human history, and he was honored by burial in Westminster Abbey. Charles Darwin's famous works are The Voyage of the Beagle, On the Origin of Species, and The Descent of Man. And the next is Oscar Wilde. Oscar Fingal of Laherty Wills Wilde, born 16 October 1854 until 30 November 19, was an Irish poet and playwright. Oscar Wilde's genres are epigram, drama, short story, criticism, and journalism. After writing in different forms throughout the 1880s, the early 1890s saw him become one of the most popular playwrights in London. He is best remembered for his epigrams and plays. His novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and the circumstances of his criminal conviction for gross indecency, for consensual homosexual acts, imprisonment, and early death at age 46. His famous works are The Picture of Dorian Gray, Lady Windermere's Fan, and the Importance of Being Earnest. And the last is Robert Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson, born 13 November 1850 until 3 December 1894, was a Scottish essayist, poet, and author of fiction and travel books. Stevenson was seen for much of the 20th century as a second-class writer. He became relegated to children's literature and horror genre. He was a writer of originality and power who produced brilliant adventure stories with subtle moral overtones and perceptive renderings of the human condition. Robert Stevenson's famous works are Treasure Island, Kidnapped, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and The Master of Ballantrae.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aini Salsabila and I'm going to tell you the summary of Kim. Kim is a novel by Nobel Prize winning by Joseph Rudyard Kipling. The story unfolds against the backdrop of the Great Game, the political conflict between Russia and Britain in Central Asia. The novel presents a vivid picture of Nerobel in India, its detailed portrait of the populations, culture, religions, and the life of the bazaars and the road of India. Kim, or Kimball O'Hara, is a British orphan boy who has grown up on the streets of Lahore at the height of British rule in India. He lives like a native Indian and speaks Hindi fluently. Immensely streetwise, he makes a living by carrying messages for all kinds of people, including an Afghan horse dealer, Mahbub Ali, who is himself involved in espionage on behalf of the British government. One day, Kim befriends with Lama, the monk, who is on a quest to free himself from the wheel of things by finding the legendary River of the Arrow. Legend says that anyone who bathes there will have all sins removed and becomes pure again. But the problem is nobody knows where this river is located. And Kim becomes Lama's disciple and accompanies him on his journey. Kim incidentally learns about parts of the Great Game, and he recruited by Mahbub Ali to carry a message to the head of British intelligence. The Lama insists that Kim should comply with the chaplain's plan because he believes it is in Kim's best interest, and Kim is sent to a top English school in Lucknow. Kim is divided between his love for his Lama master and his eagerness to become a secret agent. After 3 years of school, and Kim started to enjoy learning and he never forgetting the monk, and given 6 months to go with his friend Lama and resume their impossible strange quest. Kim is given a government appointment so that he can begin to participate in the Great Game. Kim delivers the Russian documents to Hurry, and a concerned Mahbub Ali comes to check on Kim. The Lama finds his river and is convinced he has achieved enlightenment. In the final scene, Kim and Lama talking about an of search and salvation, but Kim doesn't understand Lama's speech entirely, and there is the open final. We don't know exactly what will happen after that, but the one thing that we know, Kim is able to accept East and West. And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.